NASA has officially released the first images of the interstellar object 3I/ATLAS, and the internet is exploding with debate. The photos look shockingly low quality, especially considering they came from one of the most advanced space agencies on the planet. In fact, even amateur astronomers using backyard telescopes have captured sharper images than NASA's multi-million-dollar hardware. But the real mystery goes deeper. Across the internet, information about this strange object is quietly disappearing. Posts, analyses, and early observations are being buried or outright removed. The issue isn't just the blurry images, it's the growing suspicion that modern scientific media can shape the narrative, suppress alternative theories, and silence questions before they're even asked. Stay with me, because what comes next gets wild. If you've been following the story of 3I/ATLAS and love unraveling cosmic mysteries, hit that like button and let the universe know you're paying attention. Every interaction helps keep the search for truth alive. And drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I want to see how many corners of the world are following this moment. On Wednesday, November 19th, NASA held a major press briefing and released new data on 3I/ATLAS. During the conference, they confirmed that 15 separate missions are currently monitoring the object at the same time. That list includes the James Webb Space Telescope, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, the Perseverance rover, and the Lucy asteroid mission. This level of coordinated attention toward a single object is unprecedented. During the announcement, Nikki Fox, Associate Administrator of NASA's Science Mission Directorate, made a statement that raised even more eyebrows. She revealed that NASA had to operate multiple instruments beyond their normal technical limits just to gather usable data on the object. She used the exact phrase, operations beyond normal capabilities. That admission alone is enough to spark serious questions. Why would NASA need to push its instruments to the limit for something they describe as just another comet? That question alone has many people raising eyebrows. The images NASA released showed nothing more than a stretched, blurry streak, leaving both scientists and the public disappointed. Meanwhile, independent observatories and even hobbyist astronomers shared much clearer photos online. Those images revealed something far more dramatic. Intense jets of material firing toward the sun and a rapidly expanding tail. The difference between the two sets of images was shocking. So naturally, people started asking, how can a space agency with a $20 billion annual budget produce worse results than university telescopes or backyard astronomy gear? The explanation comes down to the tools used. NASA relied heavily on the HiRISE camera aboard the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. HiRISE was engineered specifically to capture incredibly sharp images of Mars's surface, not fast-moving objects traveling through space. It wasn't designed for long exposure times, and it cannot actively track something moving at interstellar velocities. To compensate, NASA attempted a workaround, stitching together multiple short exposure frames to boost brightness. But instead of clarity, the result was exactly what we saw: blurry, unimpressive footage. Some planetary experts have already said that using HiRISE for this observation was a risky choice that simply didn't pay off. And that leads to a bigger question. NASA also has access to the Hubble telescope and the James Webb Space Telescope, both capable of capturing detailed images of distant, fast-moving objects. So why weren't those instruments the priority for observing 3I/ATLAS? Some scientists even suggested rerouting the Juno spacecraft for a close flyby. But engineering reports show that Juno's current trajectory and limited fuel make that impossible. In the end, NASA may have had one of the rarest chances in history to closely study an interstellar visitor, and somehow allowed it to slip away. Now, the decision is sparking heated debate about NASA's judgment, priorities, and whether the agency is flexible enough to respond to unexpected discoveries. When it comes to reacting to rare and unexpected cosmic events, NASA's response to 3I/ATLAS has raised more questions than answers. What makes this situation even more controversial isn't just what NASA said, it's what they didn't say. Throughout the press briefing, officials repeatedly insisted that 3I/ATLAS is a completely natural comet. They dismissed every suggestion of artificial origin, unusual chemistry, or engineered behavior. According to NASA Deputy Administrator Amit Chatra, everything, its brightness, its activity, its growing tail, fits the standard comet model. The only unusual thing, they claimed, is that it came from outside our solar system. But that sweeping conclusion ignores a growing list of anomalies that independent researchers have been documenting for weeks. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb compiled one of the most detailed analyses, highlighting several features that simply don't match known comet behavior. One of the biggest red flags was the object's chemical makeup. Extremely high carbon dioxide levels paired with strange concentrations of nickel. NASA briefly acknowledged the nickel, but explained it using something called the nickel-carbonyl cycle. Here's the issue. The nickel-carbonyl process is a manufactured industrial method used on Earth to refine metals. It has never been observed naturally anywhere in space. There are no previous examples, no confirmed natural mechanisms, and no known astrophysical environment where this chemistry occurs spontaneously. Yet, NASA offered no clarification, no comparison, and no follow-up, and the topic silently disappeared from the conversation. Another major detail NASA left out entirely was the presence of highly collimated jet structures extending millions of kilometers toward the Sun. These jets were not the diffuse gas clouds comets normally produce. Instead, they appeared as narrow, stable columns, almost spear-like, persisting for days. To verify this, I analyzed available data and even used AI modeling to check whether any known comet had ever exhibited similar behavior. The results were both surprising and troubling. Based on current observations, these jets stretch between 1 and 3 million kilometers, a scale far beyond anything documented in our solar system. They are visible in both composite official images and amateur captures taken between November 8th and 12th. The jets are so sharp and consistent that there is zero sign of rotation blur, meaning the emission appears steady and controlled. Even more unusual, some jets point directly toward the Sun, cutting straight through solar wind pressure. That behavior is nearly unheard of at a distance of 1.4 astronomical units from the Sun. Traditional comet theory states that jets are simply gas streams venting from cracks in the nucleus. But the formations seen on 3I/ATLAS look engineered, not chaotic. They resemble precision thrusters more than random outgassing. When I asked AI systems to list comets with similar sun-facing jets stretching millions of kilometers, the initial answers were famous examples: Hale-Bopp, Hyakutake, and McNaught. But once I dug deeper, the data fell apart. For example, Hale-Bopp's so-called reverse tail wasn't a jet at all. It was an optical illusion created when Earth crossed the comet's orbital plane. After pointing that out, the AI retracted the example. Comet Halley was also believed to produce a sunward jet in 1910. But ESA's Giotto spacecraft later confirmed the effect was misinterpreted. Hyakutake's iron tail forms under magnetic influence, not from a continuous directed jet. After correcting all errors, only 2 comets remained, Hartley 2 and 67P/Churyumov-Gerasimenko. Both produced short-lived sunward jets, but they stretched only a few hundred kilometers and disappeared quickly. None remotely resemble the stable million-kilometer structures seen on 3I/ATLAS. The conclusion became impossible to ignore. No known comet has ever produced narrow sun-facing jets extending millions of kilometers and resisting solar radiation pressure, yet 3I/ATLAS does. And incredibly, NASA didn't acknowledge this once. This isn't a minor oversight, it's a glaring mystery. And right now, the silence around it may be the loudest warning of all. This wasn't a minor detail. It was a major scientific anomaly that deserved careful investigation. Yet during the press briefing, NASA acted as if it didn't exist. As I kept pressing for clarity and questioning why inaccurate comparisons were being repeated, the AI eventually made a surprising admission. Many of the so-called natural explanations circulating online come from defenders of the traditional Comet model, including respected astronomers. These experts frequently reference examples like Hale-Bopp or Hyakutake without acknowledging their limitations. Most of these so-called anti-tails aren't physical jets at all. They're optical illusions or short bursts inside a cloud of gas, not stable structures stretching millions of kilometers. But once these simplified examples spread across social media, they create a feedback loop. The more they're reposted, the more normal 3I/ATLAS appears. AI systems then absorb the repeated messaging and start treating it as verified science, repeating it, ranking it higher, and suppressing anything that challenges it. That's when things began to make sense. The AI traced the source of this misinformation and found that many large science-themed accounts were sharing oversimplified or inaccurate comparisons. Pages with names like Astronomy Vibes or For All Curious regularly posted curated lists of comets supposedly similar to 3I/ATLAS. Their posts often echoed statements from well-known science communicators like Brian Cox, whose comments went viral, providing a calm, authoritative counterweight to sensational headlines about alien probes. The problem? Most of these comparisons were factually wrong. Meanwhile, groups focused on anomalies, like UAP watches and 3I/ATLAS anomaly, were sharing detailed observations backed by measured data. But their work was quickly drowned out by the sheer volume of mainstream narrative posts. Algorithms prioritized the most common view, especially from verified accounts with large audiences. Alternative interpretations became buried, nearly impossible to find unless someone already knew where to look. This wasn't random. It highlighted a deeper flaw in how modern science communicates. The scientific principle, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, has quietly morphed into something else. Extraordinary claims now require extraordinary consensus. Any idea that challenges the established model must pass through layers of institutional pressure designed to defend the existing framework, not test it. Theories involving artificial origin or non-natural behavior face immediate barriers. Hard to publish in peer-reviewed journals, ignored by mainstream science outlets, labeled speculative or fringe, even when based on real observations. A targeted search on November 20th showed that not a single peer-reviewed paper had seriously explored the possibility that 3I/ATLAS might be artificial. Avi Loeb submitted a manuscript to ARXYV in July 2025 proposing that it could represent extraterrestrial engineering, but months later, it remained unreviewed. Meanwhile, natural comet explanations, despite failing to explain key observations, were accepted and circulated instantly. This academic gatekeeping ensures that only conventional explanations rise to the top. Alternative hypotheses get pushed into the margins. YouTube videos, private blogs, and online forums. And in those spaces, serious questions get mixed with wild speculation because there is no official arena for legitimate discussion. This creates a dangerous loop. AI scrapes the internet. It finds mainstream sources repeating the same natural explanation. It concludes that must be correct. It boosts that view further while filtering out contradictory perspectives. The result? A self-reinforcing system where one narrative dominates, not because it explains the evidence best, but because it's the only one allowed to spread. And within the scientific community, another pressure emerges: reputation. Many astronomers avoid discussing unconventional ideas, not because they lack merit, but because raising them risks professional isolation. So instead of curiosity, fear shapes the conversation. Avi Loeb has the benefit of a long, respected career at Harvard, which gives him the freedom to challenge established ideas without immediately damaging his reputation. Most scientists don't have that kind of safety net. For them, even considering the possibility of artificial origins can be career-ending. Papers can be rejected. Funding can disappear. Colleagues may distance themselves. And so, a chilling effect takes hold. one that discourages curiosity and punishes unconventional thinking. History shows this pattern clearly. Ideas once mocked or dismissed later became fundamental truths. Continental drift was laughed at before turning into the foundation of plate tectonics. The concept of an expanding universe was considered absurd until evidence made it undeniable. Inflationary theory faced fierce resistance before it became standard cosmology. Scientific progress happens when assumptions are tested, not protected. But a system too rigid prevents new theories from even being examined. What happened with 3I/ATLAS is a modern example of how information is shaped in the digital age. NASA made one clear statement: 3I/ATLAS is a natural comet, nothing unusual. The media repeated the message. Large science influencers amplified it. AI systems detected the repetition and began prioritizing it, while filtering out conflicting information. Within days, a dominant narrative was fully established. Anyone searching for information about 3I/ATLAS found endless articles insisting it was ordinary. Meanwhile, the anomalies documented by independent researchers slowly faded from visibility. Harder to find, harder to discuss, harder to question. This isn't evidence of a secret conspiracy. It's a consequence of how the system is structured. Scientists prioritize consensus over speculation. Media favors clear, digestible explanations. The industrial-like nickel-carbonyl chemistry is still unexplained. The unusual brightness variations persist. No convincing natural precedent has been identified. These facts don't disappear because NASA states the object fits the Comet model. They need investigation, not dismissal. Instead, they've been buried under oversimplified explanations, recycled analogies, and incomplete comparisons. The mystery hasn't gone away. It's simply being ignored. The question isn't whether 3I/ATLAS is artificial. The real question is whether we're willing to investigate that possibility with the same rigor we apply to conventional explanations. Right now, the answer appears to be no. Our scientific system is structured to dismiss extraordinary ideas before they're even examined. That isn't skepticism, it's selective gatekeeping. And when the process is biased from the beginning, the conclusions can't truly be called scientific. Ironically, the reason this story still exists isn't because of mainstream institutions. It's because of the internet. Hundreds of thousands of independent thinkers, researchers, amateur astronomers, and curious observers are keeping the discussion alive. They're documenting inconsistencies, questioning assumptions, and refusing to accept that 3I/ATLAS is just another comet when the evidence challenges that narrative. This isn't about believing in alien probes. It's not about rejecting consensus. It's about protecting intellectual honesty. Science moves forward by asking uncomfortable questions, not by silencing them. The low-resolution images NASA releases aren't the core issue. The real issue is what they represent: missed opportunities, restricted curiosity, and a future where information is filtered before the public ever sees it. 3I/ATLAS continues its journey through space. The anomalies remain, and so will the people determined to investigate them, regardless of mainstream resistance. Because the true spirit of science has never belonged to institutions. It belongs to those who dare to ask the questions others avoid. Thank you for watching. And in the next analysis, we continue pushing beyond the limits,